And we are live with the morning edition Flashpoint Ebontis. What's going on, man?
Well, just the usual stuff here. A little this week at Bungie, a little something else to get sidetracked with. Trailer dropping,
Yeah,
basketball being played. Good things in the world. Not bad, not bad. Trying to focus on the good. That's what we try and do. We don't deal with all the other stuff. Let the nighttime TV personalities take care of the bad, unfun stuff in the world because they present it in a
I,
lot better way than I ever would.
I hear you, man. I hear you. That Infinity War trailer drop.
Oh,
Oh man, the world just broke
I
right
just I just want to go buy my tickets. I'm like, can I see it like Thursday and then Friday and then maybe Saturday morning and just like all the time.
now. Absolutely, man.
I
Absolutely.
just park my butt in the theater for like 12 hours. They're like, we have other people. I'm like, I bought this seat all day. It's mine. I'm just here all day.
Play reserving early.
Yeah. Nah, I just can't wait. It's 2 hours and 36 minutes, which is it's a solid length. But honestly, I would have been happy if it was like 4 hours, which I know production wise never would be allowed to run. But 2 hours 30, I'm like, okay, at least it's reasonable. Like that was the old I mean, I'm kind of a fanboy on the superhero movies. So even Justice League, like you can give me a hard time, but just I sat back, I enjoyed it. Like there's moments in there when Flash is running fast and turns Superman turns his head while he's moving. You're like, oh crap! Like there's moments in there that are really cool. It's like, but it wasn't even 2 hours. And I'm like, how do you do Justice League in less than 2 hours? So I'm
Yeah,
glad to
man.
see this one's at least a little longer.
Absolutely. This is like a geek comic, kind of like Lord of the Rings trilogy kind of equivalent. I look at it,
Oh yeah,
from the comic standpoint. So it's gonna be fun, man. I'm ready. This is one of my favorite storylines of all time in comic book history. So, trailer announced today, right on time with Flashpoint.
yeah,
And actually, we might actually have a Flashpoint today. Might be actually not long
yeah.
for it.
Might not
Maybe,
be too
maybe.
long. So we will see though. Don't hold your breath because I
That
don't
is
want
true.
anybody passing out.
Tis true. Oh man, so what do we got, man? What's going on in the world? This game that we love. What's happening right now?
Well, we finished up Iron Banner last week, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I played a little bit. I got the auto rifle. I should have probably got the pulse as well with all the patch stuff we had coming last week, but just had some time to grind for one a little bit. I figured I'd save my Iron Banner real time for when it goes 6v6 here in a few
Oh yeah.
weeks potentially. So it may be coming back quick because we got a heads up the faction wars are coming right back. Like not a lot of
Yes.
downtime in here. So literally next week, March 20th, before the patch drops, we have another faction rally, which I mean, it's fine. I guess it gives us something in the interim because I did my weekly reset this week. It was like, it's a pretty tame week in Destiny. You've got a
Mm-hmm.
nightfall and some milestones. And I'm like, and Eververse has some stuff and I'm out. Like it was real short. There wasn't a lot going on. So,
Baron out here is it's tumbleweeds going on in the tower right now.
yep. I mean, it is. It's like it's rough. There's too many things, and it's like between Twitch and Fortnite hype. Like,
Oh, shout out to Drake blowing up Fortnite. Oh
oh,
my lord, it has hit the stratosphere now.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it is crazy. I mean, Ninja making like I don't know, solid money per month is like if he can even keep it for a few months. Like, dude, you're good for a while. Just
Yeah,
don't blow it all. Somebody needs
absolutely.
to sit him down and be like, I've been here. I've made some money. Whoever's done this,
Hmm.
manage it well and you'll be all right. Like if you can just handle like 3 or 4 months, put away a couple $1,000,000, pay his taxes on it, and be good. Like at his age, yeah, you're set for a little while. Just be smart with it. So
Yeah.
hopefully, but there's the practical side of me coming out. But I mean, if you have something like that to happen, people win the lottery and blow it all. It's like so.
Hmm.
Hopefully not. But yep, faction rallies are coming back. They're like, they're seeing if Dead Orbit will return to glory. Future War
Hmm.
Cult is desperate for its first win, trying to get one on the board.
Trying to get the one.
Speaking of boards, NCAA tournament, but we'll come back to that later.
Dude, no. Look like they trying to. They look like they really rigging this thing against New Monarchy this time. They were like, "Look, you're getting the grenade launcher, baby."
Yeah, I know. They seriously is like one of the others. And it would be really funny if people are just like, nah, we're just going to go with it. We're just to mess
If
with you
New
guys.
Monarchy wins
It's going to be
with
pretty
this,
messed up.
that's it. It's gonna be royal flush all the way through. There's no chance of beating them. If they
Yeah.
win That's the only thing I'm really curious. I'm not gonna play
Yeah.
this one, but I'm curious because and it's what is it? These guys got two snipers, right? It's
Yeah, it's like we'll get there
Future
in a
Warcraft.
sec. So you're
Yeah, Future
page
Warcraft
ahead.
hasn't
Yeah.
won one yet. Wow.
No.
Mhm.
So they said new weaponry will be available. So the reward pool has a shotgun for New Monarchy, shotgun for Future War Cult, and what looks to be about a submachine gun, but I haven't looked it up yet. But
Mhm.
definitely in that realm. So that's going to be just in your reward pool for engrams and stuff like that. So more things to get. I like just even like the shape between the two shotguns. Even you've got
Yeah.
a lot more of a pump action feel, a bigger grip, and then the Future War Cult, of course, looks a little sleeker. Not the giant barrels. I mean, yeah, it was like the art team, which we'll get to. Can't wait to see what they're gonna do in something later. But I mean, again, like they do well, no question. So those are not the only weapons up for grabs. Whichever faction redeems the most, as always, gets their chance at it. And we've got Future War Cult Sniper. Looking like it's got a giant silencer on the end here.
Huge. Almost got a shade. Kind of got like a Darcy look a little too, but
Yeah, don't say that. It's not the same model.
we won't say nothing about the asset team.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
Yeah. But we got New Monarchy with the grenade launcher. So, I mean, I'm okay with the look of it. It's not bad. Looks kind of cool. Like, decent legit. You got the vents on the front. Pretty big octagonal, case there for the clip. However that thing goes in and out. But, I mean, it's a grenade launcher. They're all terrible.
All awful. Worst archetype arguably in the game.
So you need to go ahead and like slap just a machine gun on top of there and have a grenade launcher on the bottom that you can use, because that's the only way I'd probably be using it right now.
That's actually a good idea. That's actually a great idea. And a cool way to bring like machine guns back. Imagine having like a Thunderlord and that bad boy, you know what I'm saying, on top.
And you get like one like grenade,
modes.
one or two grenade pop, and it's like doof doof. Send them
That's
out.
actually pretty dope. I like that. We're gonna have to send that to the Bungie right there. We're gonna hit up
we found a way to fix grenade launchers. Slap them on a machine gun. Everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Everybody's happy. They want them back. You still got all your other stuff in there. So
absolutely.
Just fixing things right and left in here. No, just kidding. Because I'm totally not a programmer, so I could never do any of that. But we have ideas. We're idea men. And then we've got Dead Orbit sniper rifle that I'm actually kind of digging as well. It's just, I don't know, they're very different. Like the Future War Cult looks like, it looks like basically a pulse rifle with a giant barrel strapped on the end. The Dead Orbit one looks a lot more unique. I mean, the grip, the longer barrel doesn't look like it actually has a real gun shape to it. It's definitely more rifle shaped.
Agreed.
It's almost a bit extreme on the length of the barrel, but you're walking around, you're like, yeah, I just have a telephone pole on my back. It's fine.
The look is definitely that.
Yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. Are you going to pledge anything? If you got to at least jump on and be like, all right, I'm going to pledge and at least hope for a win. Are you going to go for the two snipes?
I'm going to keep it all the way real with you. At this point, the only reason why I'm doing a faction rally, me, Lord Cognito, is for some more New Monarchy shaders. That's about it, bro. Like, we know where snipers are in the damn.
Oh, I know.
Better. But then again, all right, in your defense, it may be one of them situations where, you know what, I might just maybe pledge somewhere else just to see. Like, I want to see like the rolls, on these weapons too. You know what I mean?
And we'll see those Tuesday, so get to see
when
what
I say
look
weapons,
like.
I mean just the snipers, because I don't care what the grenade launcher.
Yeah, no, it's like, it could be like, I can fire 50 grenades. I'm like, they're all going to miss. That's still fine. Like, it doesn't seem to matter, so.
Yeah, so it's like, I just want to see. So if it's like some crazy roll on one of these, then I might say to myself, all right, you know what? Let me log in. This be the only week, because we know New Monarchy ain't going to win. And even though I'm a New Monarchy guy, so I'm like, it's the only week they might not win. Let me get, if one of those snipers is like a really good roll, and then the meta changes, you're ready for 1.1.4.
Yeah, I was going to say.
A hot new sniper, you know?
With the changes coming, is like you might want to pick up the snipers just to be safe.
Just to say, exactly. Stash that bad boy in the vault, and you just see how the meta plays out.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. It was like after playing so much of the Nightfall recently, I've been doing a little more solo. I did finally get one up. Only took me almost all of last week to do it, but it finally popped. Working on one this week. I'll probably do a little more today, but What I want in a grenade launcher is what the Minotaurs have for the Vex grenade launchers. Those little quick arcing blasts and just it's a quick blast, hit the ground. Like, let me have that. Thing's a lot more powerful, hits a lot stronger than ours. Ours like ting ting. Oh no, it's over there. Never mind. They're terrible. So, but
Facts.
so as you guys know, I mean, we're sitting here talking about faction rallies, and we're like, yeah, it's kind of there. You know, you might get a gun. It's probably just a reskin. So they wanted to address it. Now again, when did this game come out? Early September.
2017.
Yeah, early September. It's been 6 months. And now they're getting to the point where they're like, hey, this will be your last chance to be earning the ornaments for Season 2. So if you're missing anything, make sure you grab them. This will be the last one until basically Season 3. They want to take a little time. They want to do a little revamp on it. We're like, okay. What they want to do, they're not telling us what they're going to do, but the goals they're trying to achieve are as follows. Pledging to a faction should be a meaningful choice. It's a good start. I'm not entirely sure how to implement it. Rewards should not be time gated. So, do you think if you just win it, it's just something you can buy? It's just like open, and then as you go through the season, maybe you add the second slot there. Do you think that's what they could mean? Something?
But that sounds possible. Yeah, it sounds continuous, almost like D1-ish.
Yeah, just leaving it there. Faction rallies should provide a unique gameplay experience. Now we're kind of talking. And not simply be a reward layer on top of the existing game. Now, that end of that sentence keeps throwing me. I've read it like 4 times. I'm like, what does that mean? What do you think that means? Because to me, it's still weird.
All right. The synopsis is faction rally should not just be trash, but being serious now. Yeah. It's like, okay. When I see the sentence should provide a unique gameplay experience and not simply be a reward layer. So basically the way when I see that sentence, it literally reminds me of when you log in on reset, right? What I consider a reward layer is Flashpoint, Call to Arms.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It basically
just another milestone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a milestone list on the login screen on the director screen. So they want to make it integrated. They wanted to be unique. And, with the next sentence, I think that ties into the next sentence when you get to it.
So the event should grant additional insight into faction, lore, and goals. Now, yes. I mean, for one, Bife just, had an exciting day. So anything with lore is always a good thing for... I mean, but that's... You have a world that you've built. You have these factions that people have, like, dug into weapon descriptions and things like that to figure a decent amount out of. Sat there next to a person, just, like, recorded all, like, the random lines that come out of people just to get some idea what's going on. And we're like, how do we not have more by now? It's been 4 years. So
fact. Agreed.
More of that's great. And then it should build upon player interest in lost sectors and armor ornament objectives. So, first off, player interest in lost sectors. You're going to need to go ahead and make lost sectors matter before we have interest in those lost sectors.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then armor ornament objectives. I mean, those are kind of cool. Those are at least something to grind for. So if you have one, I don't mind the way they did that. If you have an ornament, and that's what I think more things have. I don't know where I heard. It was actually Guardian Radio. I'll kind of cover it in a second. I was listening to that one. But... all of this, yeah, I mean, if they're going to make it unique, and we've talked about stuff before, I mean, have a live running tally somewhere in the game where you can, go in and check with yours and be like, or even if you go up to the person you check and be like, that seems we're in third place right now looking at that bronze medal, you guys might want to pick it up. It's like, even if you just have random things, when you can log in your tower, like it bounces, it just checks a thing, so whichever one you talk to, you know who's winning. Like, even if it's something like that, if they're afraid of doing something live, that could still be a way to be like, okay, like this is where we're at, so you kind of know.
No doubt.
But also as they're saying that it should be a meaningful choice. So let me ask you. I know you're New Monarchy just for a couple of reasons, mostly because it looks the best in this game. A lot of people are dead orbit in D1. A lot of people are dead orbit in D1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think you should just get one account choice, not 3?
Good question. I would say it's gotta matter. So, I mean, but then again, if you got 3 characters, do you want to be locked in account wise all the way through? I mean, I think you kind of have to give that flexibility that D1 had, which is, per character you can you can pledge. And let's just say, again, you want to listen. You want to reward players who actually have time investment in your game. A
Right.
person who has multiple characters, you know what I mean, has shown time investment in your game. So you don't want to penalize them. So I say you kind of have to, and like I said, the original game had that feature.
Yeah.
So I think they have to kind of stay with that,
Yeah.
which is allowing you to switch. I
So,
mean, with each character.
so how do you make it a meaningful choice, though? What do you do? What do you think they could do to, if you pledge to it, make it more meaningful than, just 50,000 glimmer versus 1,000 glimmers? Do you think it's to where, like, if you didn't pick the right faction with that character, you can't buy the weapon at all? Like, say if you have less, then you just flat out miss out. They're trying to make it matter. Like, they want, I mean, they want the faction war to be like, hey, if I'm going for New Monarchy, this is the week I may play a little more than usual just to try and have this thing win. Like, they want it to mean more, so.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how they actually implement that. I mean, again, outside of the things that we've talked about, which is, to me, the issue comes down to, where it's like, with the time gated stuff and the fact that, okay, I want to be also, I like the grinding for the ornaments. That's dope. But I also want to be grinding for like some type of recognition with said faction. Like D1 had, you had, your new monarchy banners, you had that exotic, you know,
Yeah, the exotic class item.
class item, and here's the thing, like these ornaments, again, no disrespect to New Monarchy from like they gotta stand out,
Yeah.
man. Like they've really got to be expressive. Like the same thing, like I thought they did a good job with the Iron Banner ones, right? But a lot of the other ornaments are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you're making me grind, but I want to stand out for this grind. I want to
Yeah.
shine.
I mean, the game is like they had again. We talk way too much about D1, but there's a reason.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, what about Chroma?
There we go.
What about um, Trials rewards where you have wings on your backs, like ornaments that actually are like 3-dimensional with glowing effects? Like,
Yeah, like you gotta go all out. You have to make that person feel cool. You gotta be like, look at that guy. Look, that was one of the hooks of D1. D1, what made D1 so great for the people who listening, like, why did damn they talk about D1 so much? But what made D1 so great is fashion mattered.
it did, and it was
Like,
cool on top of that.
yeah, it was cool looking, it mattered, and you had jealousy in the tower.
Yeah, I mean,
Where did this guy get that?
yeah,
You're looking at it. I remember when Fallen Saber Strike and I saw another warlock wearing that crazy helmet. I'm like, where did you get that?
yeah,
And come to find out that was a strike specific reward. You know
yep.
what I mean? It's that kind of a thing. You make it tough, but once it's being tough, you've got to really go ornate, expressive, or you got to go over the top with the ornament, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To make it really stand out. But you
Well,
were
and
saying,
that was kind of the thing we went through when we had Rise of Iron, and they finally re-released all the raids. You end D1 with some of the best ornaments and raid-looking loot that I've ever seen.
yes,
Those sets that you got from the King's Fall raid and the Crota's End raid, both of those were awesome, absolutely awesome.
yes.
I mean, and Siva as well. The Siva raid also was those ornaments. Like, how do you end D1 looking like that? And then your ornaments or your kind of version that you get for doing the Prestige Leviathan raid, which, yeah, is gonna, you're gonna beat your head against the wall. You're like a different color of shiny gold from what I've seen.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like it was so disappointing to see the Prestige raid armor.
Yep.
I'm like, this is it? Like,
Yeah.
that's not a go. Like, so again, our team is usually good. So they really have to nail that. I'm curious to see how the strike specific award is going to go. I'm curious to see how they address that moving forward because you can't give people generic looking stuff after they grind it. I'm sorry. That's not going to do it,
No, for sure. And it's like, if you So it's like between, I mean, that's one of those things where it's like you got to have prestige matter. Same thing they want to have pledging to a faction matter. It's like, so say I pledge to a faction and you did it the first time. Say you pledge to them the second time in a season. You have a chance to get something maybe the first time didn't go through. And maybe it's just one thing. Maybe your second time through, you might get, you know, a little glow on your head. Or, I mean, and that's so minor, I don't even want to say that because they might be like, yes, okay, here's another aura. But instead, like, if I'm going to go through, it's like, take what I'm about to say and apply it to factions, if they can figure that part out. So, like, say if you're going to do the raid, and your normal raid perks, you're going to get to be like, okay, raid armor you get, okay, you got one piece, okay, you got 25% damage bonus on solar for your class item. So, say if you finish the prestige, say that bumps up to 30%, 35%. So, it gives you a reason to want to get that new set of armor. Same thing here. Just, I mean, give us a reason and give us something that affects in how our character feels and plays by grinding something more difficult or spending more time in the game. That's what you guys want us in the game. You got to give us a reason. Probably going to be a broken record between now and who knows when things come out, but that's probably going to come up a lot. We have to have a reason to want to play.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, completely agree.
Well, I mean, the goals are good. They're vague and broad, but they all are things we've thought about. So we'll see how they implement them. I'm not saying, you know, Bungie's stupid by any stretch. There's some smart people over there. So crossing fingers, hoping that they figure out a unique way to put this in. So
absolutely. And just for the record, you know, I want to say that I thought this paragraph was positive. I really did. Like, I didn't think they would address it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is stuff we've been kind of clamoring that faction rallies needs to improve. It needs to matter. It needs to hold weight. And for the most part, these, I'm going to call the bullet points tenets for what they envision faction rally to be is pretty cool. Like, yeah, it shouldn't be time gated. It should be meaningful. You know, it shouldn't be just that layer. You know, it should be a unique insight. So it's going to be curious to see how they implement it and how far they go with it. But again, new Bungie, new transparency. I notice it's a small thing. People may say, "Oh, you're just overreacting." You know, they haven't done anything. It's still.
No, but it's like they listen to all the feedback, and we're like pretty much you read this paragraph and it's like, yes, this is literally almost everything I'm thinking. Now let's see what comes next. So this is like the acknowledgement.
The acknowledgement is so key. You have to acknowledge. You have to have your ear to the ground. Know what the base wants. You at this point in this stage of the game. You have to do the division. You have to do the Rainbow Six Siege. You have to listen to your community or else.
Pretty much. I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. It is like
playing Destiny right now, just for the record. Ain't no hotline bling on Destiny.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, you're good. I'm cracking up over here. It's all good. But yeah, we all want it to be, and it's like, and this is one of those, it's like acknowledgement is one. Implementation is phase 2, and that's just as important. You can say all this seems nice, and then if you give us a 0.01% increase and all that random stuff that we've seen before that ticked us, don't go down that road again. So
I love it when Ebontis brings that up.
I'm a numbers guy, so when you show me like 0.0,
the 0.1, I cry inside laughing.
It's just one of those when you show me that number, I'm like, okay, if I'm hitting for like 66, and I'm going to do 0.05%, I'm like, I don't know what math you're doing, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean squat, and I'm going to keep my language clean for now. So we're just going to roll on down the page here and see what's coming next. So what does high score mean? Well, apparently for some people it means cheesing these strikes. So Pure Media Nightfall, we had a couple high scores. Shout out to Esoteric number 1984. They're on number 3, so always good to see him getting any of his accolades. So... but honestly, they said, Guardians are posting astronomical numbers because they've found a way to juice the lost sectors. They're looking for a fix in 1.2, which means you've got until May before that gets fixed. So if you want a realistic high score, just challenge yourselves. Like, unless you want to go and try and cheese the high score, see if you can get it as ridiculously high as possible, because that's what these people are doing.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, I was like, I wish there was a point where, and I know there's probably a balance of somebody who's got like, if we're looking at 380,000, I watched Dado do his video, and I think he got like 139 or 129,000. He was like, he's like, we got clutch. Like, literally, they finished it with like 1756 to make sure when they killed the boss, they still got points. And they were happy about that. And I look over and I see these numbers, and I'm like, well, that just sucks. Not for, for Dado, because this is just like, okay, I had a really good run. They looked pretty smooth, and people are sitting here doing this. I'm going, that doesn't even make sense. So I don't know if I totally agree with them acknowledging these to a point. Like for them, if you had like a couple people go through, do a relatively clean run, I mean, a max of 200,000. If you see it's like we're getting double and triple, then you're like, all right, go cheese our stuff because the way we actually want you to do it and shoot things doesn't matter. And I don't know. I mean, I know they're trying to make the best of a crappy situation because they can't figure out how to lock him out, but I'm still not sure I like how they're acknowledging like a broken high score, which is like.
I think they've got no choice though. I think it's just what it is. They look they're laughing at it. I mean, they're pretty much saying, yeah, they're using terminology like astronomical numbers. They know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, they're just doing it out of formality because I guess they had this in place.
Yep.
In the system as far as when people post up Nightfall scores. I think this was the system they were going to plan to use. Now it's just that people are juicing it, and it's like, okay, we're going to have to revisit this.
Yeah.
Make a fix.
We'll see, but they just said, hey, see who can be the most efficient at running up these scores with these methods. So, game on. So, I mean, if you want to go for a high score, you're going to have to get creative. So, we'll see how that goes. Pretty much me, I'll go solo in Nightfall. 2 people go kill stuff in locked sectors for days, and then I'll finally pull you into the boss room. I don't know. But you still got to be quick. So, yeah, I mean, there's skill involved in getting something this high. I'll give them that. Because you can't just like lollygag and have people go farm it for an hour and then lose all your points. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, there's a balance there. So
absolutely.
We get a little bit more about the Destiny 2 companion app. So they're just continually making some updates there. So it's just they have difficulties with that. They're working at it. So they're just giving you guys bits and pieces of pointers to make things work. They also said Nightfall emblem variants, each strike offers a unique emblem that can be earned. They said they've been witnessing some confusion of like, why did I not receive a variant or whatever? So there's certain strikes and stuff like that. So just, keep grinding. If you didn't quite get it, it may just not be high enough for what they thought the bar was. So
gotcha.
Outside of that, a couple movies of the week, and then we got a little tease here at the end of this one. So they said they've been monitoring the response and gathering your feedback for all the Sandbox and Crucible changes we told you about last week. So before we have them in our hands, we're guessing and speculating and they're listening. So I don't know if that's going to change anything. Their patches have probably been with Microsoft and Sony for a while now, but they did say they wanted to give a little feedback about in-air accuracy. So they said the Sandbox team is going to be letting us know that they're going to increase the fire accuracy and ADS accuracy for hand cannons. They said they're also going to look at the in-air accuracy for these as well. So basically just in-air accuracy is one of those things a lot of people are like, if I want to be skillful and be jumping in the air, why do I have to get penalized when I'm a Guardian?
Exactly.
Like, if a human being jumps up in the air and tries to turn and fire a gun, yeah, you're probably going to miss. But if I'm a Guardian, I'm supposed to be this elite warrior, give me benefit of the doubt, I'm probably going to hit the shot or at least have a pretty good chance. So I think that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that they addressed it because, I believe it was Triple. He had put something out there in reference to that, screaming about in-air accuracy and that needing to be fixed and how, it was basically in relationship to how it was in D1. So I think they did have a comment on it and, they just say, look, we're looking into it. Again, that this is important. A lot of people definitely, want to be rewarded for that style of play. That was that's a big part of go fast, right? Having that going fast, Titan skating, doing that, jumping around, that's part of it. So people want that whole experience. They don't want to be punished or penalized for going in the air and, like you said, being a powerful Guardian and pulling off some, some really cool moves, man. So good to see them get in front of that. So we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, I was like, there's probably going to be a whole lot of patch notes for us to talk about come 2 weeks from now.
Oh, yeah.
So much to talk about. A little bit of playing, hopefully, before that in a couple days. So we will see. But they also said, speaking of 1.1.4, they're going to give us a little glimpse, a little show and tell for the new Nightfall unique rewards that are going to be coming next patch. So 1.1.4. So, you got any hopes, any thinks, any thoughts?
I'm hoping, man. I'm really hoping they don't screw this one up. This one is so important to me. So important. Unique rewards. It's so important. And again, it's gotta be cool. It's gotta be over the top. It's
Yeah.
got like, and to their defense, I'm hoping they nail it because I believe what was it 2 flashpoints ago, they were kind of like, look, remember when they made the announcement that they were not, they pulled back,
Yeah, they bumped it. Yeah.
right, and they did kind of state like, hey, we want this to be cool. We want to give our artists. They did specifically say we want to give our artists more time.
Yep.
So again, I want to see something fly.
Yeah.
I don't want to see no, generic Vanguard looking gear.
I don't need just another reskin of this Vice pulse rifle or something like that. Like,
I better not see a reskin.
it needs to look like I broke off his arm and I'm walking around with it. Like, they need to be damn unique. Like,
yeah, spoils of war, unique to that type of situation. Absolutely, it's got to be cool, man. It's got to be cool.
so go through. I'm trying to think of the strikes. I just got done beating my head against the Pyramidion. So Brachion, he's got that little charge up pulse sniper rifle. So beam rifle, sniper rifle, something in that department maybe. I heard I'm just going weapons because honestly I heard that they were gonna be weapons, not armor, which worries me somewhat. I wish it was both.
Yeah.
Um,
You heard for sure that it would be. Just
I don't know for sure. I feel like I heard it somewhere that it was gonna be weapons and not armor. Now I could be wrong, so if you're listening, be like, no, you're totally wrong. It's fine. This is again what I thought I heard at one point. So I mean, at least in the weapon department I can speculate. What about, I mean, Brachion the giant, gigantic Minotaur. What would you not even Minotaur, he's kind of his own thing. What would you want from him if you went armor?
Give me his head, man. Give me that cool
the giant horns.
Exactly. Remember when the Titan from Prisoner Elders had to look like a 747 on his head?
Oh my God, yes.
But
I got my wings. I'm taking off.
Yeah, man, that's the type of stuff I miss. I miss that over the top, ornate embellishment of armor, but it signified what you beat, what you did. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if like you did it like there's a point when you go through and you do damage to him, he's got the bigger, I call them horns because I've been playing too much Monster Hunter, but basically they are like the giant, appendages coming out the top, like, and you shoot and you do enough damage and they break. So it'd be kind of cool if you got it in that mid phase before his head pops off, but once those horns are broken, so it's not like off your screen. But it's kind of that point where it's like they're kind of broken, but you still got the semblance of the head, and I look like a Vex guy now. I've got a Vex thing on my head, so that literally makes me think of Iron Man 2. He's like, this doesn't look big enough for a head. Can you fit your head in here? It doesn't. You know what I'm talking about? When Iron Man 2, Sam Rockwell's talking to him. Yeah. He's like, I don't think, see, my head doesn't fit in there. It's like, so I was like, but if you put that on, totally changes the face for a little while, do it. Like, give me a goofy looking head for a little while. It's fine. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's the level I want with those, though. Be it armor, be it weapons. Like, if it's a weapon, I want literally his arm. Just give me his arm, strap it, and let me hold it.
That's cool.
That's what I want.
I'm with it. So I'm all about that. Spoils of war, pieces of our enemy.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, just complete agreement with you.
Yeah. So, we'll figure out if Cosmo is actually the one controlling the strings on the faction journalist, because he said he's pledging to future war cults, see if they can get him a win. So, if he picks them and they win, I just blame Cosmo, nothing else. Not the fact that it's, only snipers. I do think New Monarchy has a tough road this coming week. Grenade launcher definitely puts you in, not the back seat, but I'd say basically puts you in the trunk. Yeah, you don't have a shot. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Right. Should not win. It would be
funny, though, if they still win and it's just like they're just going to, at that point. But we'll see. Let's see what happens. I'm very curious.
I'm going to leave my screen clean right now. If on your end you want to see if this little roadmap update is up, I doubt it. But if you want to check real quick, they said they're planning to update the roadmap tomorrow. As of when we're recording this is today. Now, it's probably a little early because they're West Coast and this is still 7:39 in the morning for them.
Absolutely.
So I doubt it's up, but sometime middle of the day this afternoon, there will be a roadmap update. So I'm sure we will talk about that next week. If it's not, probably in the THWAB next week. So we'll see what's coming. It's probably just like, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we expect to get in here. If anything got pushed back to May. And then they need to start adding a new column saying, hey, this is the stuff that might be in fall with Taken King 2.0 or whatever. So they need to start adding that next column in there because they've been leaving. They only showed that stuff like, I think one time when they mentioned all the stuff they're looking at, they're like, this is the stuff we're looking at for the fall. They haven't mentioned that stuff again.
Yeah, good point.
So they haven't
Good
mentioned
point.
anything with the weapon slot allocation and all of
Yes.
those like those bigger chunks where people are like, okay, you have my interest peaked. It's big. What is anything happening here? And we haven't heard anything about it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of
It'll
going to
be
get a
very interesting to see what either is added, moved in, or moved back. So let's see what happens. May's a big one. That's going to be in conjunction. Season 3 is going to be in conjunction with the DLC.
yep.
So they've got a lot to prove there, and I'm going to be at PAX this year. So I'm curious. I'm very confident they're going to have a presence there because I think
Nice.
like they've got to promote. PAX is April. They've got to kind of get the promotion train
Yeah,
running.
it seems it would be fitting because they don't have a patch anything going on, so that's like seems like ramp up your marketing for whatever's coming time in April
Yes.
before May. So
Yes, we
April is
need
going to
we
be
need a
Bungie marketing
marketing
month.
barrage. Let's be honest, because
Yeah,
they're not even. There's no mind share right now. There's not
yeah,
no one's even these updates that sound amazing. These go fast updates. The mind share is just not there. The people to even be talking about Destiny right now. So I think they're gearing up probably for that,
yep.
and that Anna Bray expansion with the War Mines. It's got to be cool, man.
Oh
It's got
yeah, I mean that needs to almost feel. It needs to be bigger than it should be. I think
yes,
like
yes,
what we expect for an expansion, what we're used to, what we even want. It almost needs to be a little bit bigger, just to give your player base a reason. Because if
yes.
it's not that big, if it's your, 4 or 5 mission thing, you've
Or a
got
big
one,
circle.
and you've got like one landing zone. So say it's like Mars with like 5 events, and you've one big ass circle for there with
Mhm.
the language. Sorry, Captain. Sorry, Cap.
So good, so good.
Um, but yeah, if it's just like 5 missions on a new planet, and then what's the big thing? You have a Prison of Elders thing. Like if they just do that, people are gonna lose their mind, and
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I don't know if you could get them back. So it needs to be better than it even probably should be. It's one of those like.
abs-
So we'll see.
absolutely, man.
But shout out to Unknown Player.
Did you know?
So he had a video talking about some concept art that got out there for Destiny 2 cutscenes that got cut from the game. So, as you guys will see on screen, we've got the images they took from kind of whatever was out there, basically. And again, these are concept art, but Cognito brought it to my attention. Again, it's just the idea of what else could have been.
Mm,
So, as you were mentioned before we got started, Destiny 1 had a somewhat darker feel in multiple
facts.
situations. I mean, you see Taken King and you watch that cutscene, you're like, okay, you just wiped out some people. You see Crota, and you were talking about the torture that with like 6 went down, 1 came out. Like, what happened to the other 5? That's a bit ominous. Like, there's some stuff going on in there, and I mean, you talk about the fight at the wall with Siva and like the amount of people that gave their lives, and the opening cutscene with all the
Mhm.
Iron Lords
Yeah,
sacrificing themselves behind
yeah,
the vault. Like, I mean, they went a lot darker as opposed to, I mean, the feel of Destiny 2, especially when you fall off of Callus's ship, the
hmm
music, the tone, the darkness, you're limping, like,
hmm
that was cool. Like, you put that with,
yes,
like, the gravity of some of the stuff, like, in D1's story, and I was like, I think that's where they, like, go darker. Like, that's when
absolutely.
things mean more, when
Yes,
things have weight. So it's
yeah,
like you want a story. Some of the and that's unfortunately why it's like some people are like not always keen on dramas. You want to watch
hmm
TV, you want that
hmm
separation. But when you play a game like The Last of Us and you either go through that first 10 minutes, which is like a movie and it just rips your heart out,
hmm
or you finish it up and your mind's going, "What the hell just?" Like you
yeah,
have those moments, and it's like if you want a game to be impactful,
hmm
you need to give those moments more weight.
absolutely. And I think I'm gonna say something controversial.
I mean,
um,
I doubt it.
I know you hunters gonna be mad. I love Kate. We all love Kate. Who doesn't love Kate, right? The
Oh,
problem
I
I
think I
felt,
know where you're going, where
you
you
know where
could
I'm
make
going.
something be weighty.
Yeah, the problem I felt with D2 is they knew they had something special with Cade, and the focus, not that the whole story was about Cade, it wasn't, but if you look at the promotion of Destiny 2, it was really about Cade,
It
right?
was, yeah.
It was Cade at the bar. That was the first teaser, remember?
Yeah.
Second, Cade at the bar making the speech. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you're gonna go that route, it's funny. It's cool, you know, but it's like again. the tone. Think about that compared to when we got the Taken King trailer,
Right.
right? The Taken King teaser and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
Oryx is coming. Now again, you did feel Gaul. I'm not gonna say you didn't feel Gaul was
Right.
coming. Gaul was coming. He had his presence. But like I said, as you I don't know, I feel like the overall vibe of D2 is, and then shout out to Unknown Player for his video and his comments. I agree because I feel like it's just kind of light-hearted, funny, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
You know, I don't take it, and I'm gonna say something else really controversial now. You
Well,
got me
careful
going.
now. Careful
You
now.
got me. You do this to me, Bunch, all the time. You get me going
Just
on
get
these
you
tangents.
going. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say something I thought I'd never say. Maybe part of it also is due to Nolan Bot and the fact that your character doesn't speak, right?
Well,
Anymore.
yeah. I was like, you keep going, but I'm definitely got an
Yeah, I'm gonna let
opinion
you
on
count.
that.
I'm
No,
almost
no,
finished. I'm
you're
almost
good.
done with this tangent. Your character doesn't speak anymore. Nolan Bot is doing all the talking. This time, yes, he is funny, but a lot of the time it's jokey stuff. Almost say 70% of the time.
Yeah.
Like there's really there's no seriousness for a lot of time. That's why I mean I actually like Segura a little bit. You know what I'm saying
Yeah.
when Segura came
No, I
and
mean, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's pretty much what I got on it. It's just like they've made a conscious decision, marketing wise, storyline wise, that we're not gonna make this serious. To me, the most serious thing that I felt in the entire Destiny 2, probably cinematic story wise, was the end. You know, spoiler alert, if you didn't beat D2 by now, you better
Yeah. It's like
come on.
get on board.
It's a
Pause
dead
it
game.
now.
Come
You
on
got
now.
3, 2, 1. All right, now we're in spoiler territory.
Was literally the, prologue, whatever you want to call it, epilogue, whatever you want to call it, after Gaul is defeated,
Yep.
the traveler's light goes out,
Yeah.
and at the end you're like, yo, what the F is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What did that, and we gonna scroll down into the art, and you'll see what I'm talking about even more. Them triangle shapes, which we're assuming are the darkness,
Right.
and you're like, ooh, Destiny 3 is gonna be lit when that comes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like that was the only moment where I felt like, you know, like I didn't feel in fear. Like I don't know, it's just different. Maybe it's the easiness of the game. It's just so many things going on. I'm done rambling.
No,
How do you
no. I
feel
was
about my
like,
tangent?
it's all legit, and it's one of those things. And you kind of said just the humor to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Cade before I think was liked so much because he was those a little bit uplifting points. He was
Yes.
the moment, and one of my favorite lines in all of D1 from the entire game is "Get your rock off my map," because it's so out of place but so fitting for his personality. But
Yes.
still in that, it's the one I remember. But it's still in that situation. You also have Eris like explaining the gravity of what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that gives it more weight too, because it's like he has a little blip, and yeah, I remember that one because it cracks me up. But in turn, you get the weight of Eris's voice, like the feeling you know
Yes.
what she's been through. You see like the black coming out from under her eye mask. Like you are looking at those moments and going, okay, this is something I don't really want to mess with. And we have a little levity and a joke in there because that's Cade, and that's like perfect in doses. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying like take Cade out, but as you said,
No.
if you make the focus on something humorous, that's what the whole thing becomes.
Exactly.
Now, I have a
Absolutely.
weird metaphor here. You got to
Go for
stick
it.
with me, but you'll probably kind of
Go.
understand when I get
Go
there.
for it.
Marvel versus DC movie universes.
Perfect. Perfect. You just
Literally,
nailed it.
like Marvel is it is always jokey, which
Mhm.
unfortunately in turn, same thing we're talking about. Take some of the gravity away. That's why Marvel has an issue with villains.
Yes.
Now,
But
Civil War was internal struggle. That was
yes.
different. So you did the villain was literally just like moving pawns on a chessboard, but the main focus is the internal struggle. Different type of villain.
Right. But I got to come for you though with
No,
Black
I was gonna
Panther.
say, and then Black Panther took it to a level it should have been.
Yes.
Black Panther crushed it because
Mhm.
you have a villain that has understandable and empathetic motivations,
Yes.
and you can feel for him, and you also have the main protagonist get the crap kicked out of him. I mean, if it's a movie, obviously he's coming back, so I mean, he's coming back. But you have those moments to where it's like, okay, like it's real. and it has weight to it. Before you're kind of going, okay, but you turn over to DC, and this is where you kind of have to balance it too. DC almost goes too far in the dark.
Yes.
Sometimes, like, they go for, like, Justice League was kind of a fun little balance, and they had a little bit more fun with it. Wonder Woman was really good. Honestly, Wonder Woman is still just a badass movie.
I agree.
But they go definitely more towards the darker, more serious side. And sometimes I appreciate that because almost everything, like Ant-Man is funny, but there's a point where it's like, it's almost just a pure comedy and there's special effects in there. I still enjoy the movies for sure. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But in turn, like you have something like Flashpoint, the movie, like if they do a real Flashpoint movie, the way that time can, like that in the TV show, I'll give him props because he went through, you know, he wanted to change time at the end of the season. He comes back and it's like, you just messed with your entire world because you wanted one thing and it has consequences. And I think that's the point of, like, that's the metaphor. You can't go too far to the Marvel humor side and get rid of the gravity of a situation if you want us to care about what happens.
Absolutely. Completely agree. Completely.
So bringing it back to full circle, we've got some images on screen here that will show you guys. Apparently there was an idea for a much darker Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So we're going to scroll down. The first one here looks weird. I've been looking at this image long enough. It's like you've been staring at the clouds. I literally see a face here because I see two eyes and a nose. There's no mouth, but I see two eyes and a nose in this thing, and it's probably not even there. But you have what looks like some cloud around it, probably the Traveler, and some black. I can't even tell exactly what this is. It's weird. But down here is
pretty cool.
Yeah, you got a couple hands. I don't know if it's like either dematerializing or just covered in ash, but definitely very dark, like dream imagery with the what looks like kind of a foggy explosion in the background or something.
And keep in mind, this concept of art from this artist, I believe, was called like Traveler's Dream or something like that.
Yeah,
this cinematic.
And you'll see some pieces that kind of came back in that were part of what were in the game, so you can tell it's just kind of related. So again, you focus a little more on the hand. You can tell there's the particles around it. It's like ash. It's dark. Here is the one. So
that's me right there.
So the end of D2, you see that the triangle ships, the darkness is a thing, as opposed to some little piece of concept art. They actually put it in a rendered video, so they spent a little bit of time on it. And now you have an image where it's sitting next to the Traveler, like, and look at the scale. That's going to start to make Earth look small depending on the size of that ship.
Ominous. Look like it's coming. Something's coming. And then I like the little minions, you know, the minion triangles. Like it looked like a swarm. So I love that concept art.
Yeah, I thought for a second when I was watching the video that all the little ones made up the big one. It was actually like nanites building one main thing.
You know what's funny? I actually got that same vibe too.
Yeah, I thought that for a second.
Like they all form together, almost like a collective hive mind, and then they also disperse. I got that vibe too. It's funny you said that. I was thinking the same thing.
I was like, I kept staring at the ship. I'm like, is it? It doesn't look like they do, but maybe. I don't know. So I had that little glimpse. But you can see like some slight trees below. You got the Travel, and you have this big ass triangle ship. So yeah, it's a bit rough. These images start to get a little darker. It looks like, I mean, this looks like basically just a mass grave covered in ash and soot and whatever. I mean, this is...
But I like this is dark. This is the end of the world kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I like this. This is what I'm talking about. You bring weight. You bring like, oh, man, this is our reality if we don't defeat this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, loving it.
Yeah, so I mean, that one there is just like, whew.
Yeah. Oh,
and this is, I think Kojima would be proud of this image right here.
It's Kojima weirdness right here. I like it though.
But I mean, you've got what looks like either a human face, small child. It doesn't look big, like but it's like covered in oil, some black liquid. You've got. So I mean, again, here, same thing. You've got a bird, but it looks like it's made of. I mean, PlayerUnknown was saying it's like the black wiring and stuff like that, and it's just, it's not made of feathers. It's not a real bird anymore. Something is up. Like it's, and if that's what happens if the darkness takes over, it's like, well,
to me, all this is like results of the darkness. Like the bird is all tarred up. The human before bathed in this thing, like they're transforming their meta. I can go on and on. Like, first of all, shout out to the art team, right? I mean,
like,
this was scrapped, so that just lets you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's oh man, like this is really really powerful imagery. I was really impressed when I saw this. Shout out to an unknown player for bringing this to our attention. Like really cool stuff.
Now this one is cool. So you got a ghost. Now I mean, we know Siva. We have that throwback for a second, but it doesn't look truly Siva like. It's still. I think there's. I don't know what the red coloring is in the background. If you black and whited this image, it would still have the same feel as the bird above, with the wiring kind of the taking over. Like the darkness is taking over a ghost here. Like this looks rough. This could be the aftermath of that same picture. I can't tell.
Can't tell. Yeah.
But I mean. That's rough. It's a problem.
That's a problem.
That dude is literally like melting on the side of his face. His eyes are glowing. Like I don't think he's coming back.
Boy, that's assimilation right there. You've been taken out. Like,
yeah, you're part of the Borg now. There we go.
Yeah. You're controlled now. That's it. Yeah. They got you.
And then here, this is where it's like there was some of this was in like the kind of the dream and some of the kind of cinema videos in the opening of D2. So you have like the underwater, the triangle ships kind of basically taken over. Here's your picture of the Leviathan. Now this actually looks more like concept art, but I like how this one even shows like the planet dying a little more. I know the concept art showed it a little bit, but you see actually literally the vacuum feeling of like ripping the pieces of the planet inside the Leviathan. Like you get a feel of what it's doing.
I completely agree.
Because if this was Nessus, we would not be landing on it.
No. I agree.
Now this, I don't know what it is. It looks like obviously some lance spear looking thing. I can't.
Yeah, I can't put my finger.
So I don't know what that is at all, but something electrified, but there's not much behind it. And then finally you've got this.
Yeah, man.
So this kind of comes back into, I think, just some of probably the cinematic work that was there, and this kind of wraps probably back to coming out of the dream maybe or something. But just the level of these images, it's the main few are right here in the middle. You got this one with the guy, the eyes lit up, just completely assimilated or being completely destroyed, one of the two. And then, the ghost and the bird, these two. That ghost picture is whew,
powerful, man.
It looks like a rough day.
Powerful imagery.
But it's, you take something, it's been a minute since I played the Halo story, but Bungie has done a story with, with Cortana and all of the things and the rings and just the whole weight all the way through that of, the need. And they actually made it feel a little more. They've always said, hey, the darkness is coming. And then we end up fighting the Fallen or the Vex. And it's like the big, like they open D1 with the vagaries of, the darkness and the Traveler and the light and stuff like that. And then we're going to go fight these random alien factions. It's like, so what about the thing you talked about in the very beginning? 4 years later, we gonna mention that? No, it's gonna be 6 years later. Like, come on, guys.
But you know what? I'm gonna give them a pass only for the simple fact that first of all, you're correct. I'm not even gonna try to minimize what you're saying is correct. It's like we have not heard from the initial thing we played D1, what we started out for, right? Everything has been sidetracked to these other things. I think this is just the nature of MMO. I think they know that's the end game, and this is where that 10-year plan comes in, because they just can't give it to us, right? They can't give, otherwise story be over. There's no more, story narrative reason to continue. So now you have to throw these other little side plots and stuff around here, and then you got Gaul, and you got this one, you got that one, and then it eventually gets to you think of it like Game of Thrones in a way. At the end of the day, we knew from season 1, we knew the White Walkers were coming, right? Yep. But it's just like they trying to establish all these other things, and then give you a little bit of hint here and there about that. But I think ultimately that's what it is. That the darkness is their White Walkers.
Yeah, that's a fair way to phrase it. Yeah.
Yeah, D4 or whatever it is that the story actually ends. You know what I'm saying? With that character.
Yeah, it's a lot of buildup, but you got to keep people around long enough to get to the buildup.
Yes, that is true. Very true.
So, I don't know. So, what else is anything else going on with you right now? So, I know as you're saying, you're like not really even planning to pay the faction rally. What else have you been even playing? What is stealing your attention from this game that we like to talk about? But
it's been tough. It's been tough because I gotta be brutally honest. This is like this is the first time where I'm just like, damn, there's no motivation, for me to go on, and it's like, obviously 1.1.4, we know that. I'm definitely jumping on for that. So, during the meantime, it's just been backlog. It's been backlog, as we told before, XCOM 2. I've told you this numerous times. I've been playing War of the Chosen like crazy. That's one of my backlog games. I got a 4K update. I've been hitting that. Obviously Sea of Thieves drops. I had Kingdom Come Deliverance. My Nintendo Switch has got it's just been backlog after backlog after backlog. So I mean, that's pretty much like my new routine since Destiny is not part of my life consistently right now,
Yeah, no,
which is a
that's
little sad. But it's gonna feel good to want to turn it back on, and I just really hope they get it together. I'm dying to see how that fast update looks, and but yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing in the interim. And it's like, look, me and you had this discussion offline, which is like this whole analogy with Destiny 2 and what's going on to me is just like, they got into a car accident.
yeah.
Your best friend got into a car accident. He's on life support. So you go to the hospital, you do your visit. How's he doing? Is he improving? Oh
Like,
yeah,
that
okay,
is a
let's go.
dark ass metaphor, but I mean, it's kind of right.
It's right. It's on life support right now. No one's talking about Destiny. Only people talking about Destiny is us. So it's like, but we're that loyal friend, right?
And
We're
hashtag
loyal.
fire team chat. Shout out.
Shout out to Fati. Exactly. Shout out to them. Everyone's abandoned, all the major streamers. So we're the loyal one. We know the joy and the happiness this friend gave us. So we come by that hospital. You got the flowers, you got the candy, you got your card. You're checking that, you're speaking to the doctor to see what the prognosis is. And you're like, okay, next week he should have full range of motion in his feet. That's the go fast update.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's true though.
You know what I'm saying? That's where we're at right now. Let's just call a spade a spade. That's where we're at. And we're just hoping somehow, because they've done it before. We can't say it. D1 was another car accident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there were different issues with that.
True, true.
So
And yeah, it's just, I remember those stretches before Taking King. You know what I mean? I remember the drought. I remember how
oh man,
upset the
that was
community
rough.
was. It was rough. It was really bad out here. Then you had the division out, remember?
Yep.
It was bad, man, for Destiny. And then, they somehow was able to pull it out and take it king. And they've got to come full force. So
They
we'll,
need
we'll
to
see.
pull a rabbit out of the hat on this one though.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's no doubt about it. Like, we got to call it what it is. So,
It's
it'll
like
be
we
interesting.
yeah. I was like, and May is gonna be the hopefully some stuff gets in there, gives a little dabble of content, but it's really
Yeah.
whatever is after May is the one that will probably like make or break the future
Hmm.
of either D2 till they either
Hmm.
take a break and reboot or some of this franchise just overall
I agree. I
future.
agree. But I will say this: I'm not minimizing the importance of. I think May is still important. I think May, because here's the thing: the quality of life stuff. If Destiny is playing better, right, and feeling better after 1.1.4, and then you got a nice little decent content drop with this Warm Mind DLC. I
Yeah.
forgot the leak name. So many leaks now; it's so hard to keep up.
Gods of Mars. I forget the
Yeah,
other one, which
Gods
a
of
buddy of mine
Mars,
told me
something,
was straight up
something.
Photoshop because,
Yeah, it's always a new leak, right?
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, if the game plays better and the content is actually good, not Osiris like, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be the new term. Your DLC is Osiris like.
You mean Forgotten in Time?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh man, the infinite circle of nothing.
Yeah,
But
that's your friend that set something on the nightstand in the hospital and then
uh,
left again.
yeah,
Never
he was
coming
out.
back.
He
He just like the end of that story. He's just like, peace. I'm like, dude, Siva didn't even do that. Like, how you just gonna be
exactly.
like, bye?
Yeah, Osiris was real foul with his visit to the patient.
Yeah, bedside
Dropped
manner
his,
needs some work.
yes, dropped his little card, get well, and was out. So yeah, like I think it's just one of them things where it has potential to you got to generate a little buzz. You got to have that that cinematic team put out that nice trailer. Show some cool stuff, get people excited. I think they have to get people excited. I think they can't wait as long as that big update that they're hoping, because there's just too much things out right now captivating people's mind. I mean, you're playing Monster Hunter daily. You're going in,
Oh yeah.
you know?
I mean, I have, I'm not creeping up to the hours I have in Destiny 2. I've just put some more time in it, but I've got more time in this game than probably any other in quite a while in Monster Hunter, and it's been because it has a reason for me to keep going. Even if it's just
Absolutely.
like, hey, it's literally right now, sometimes I'll just jump on and go wail on stuff to help my brother because he's at a lower level, not quite at the same, and I'll go jump in and I feel powerful. So, okay, I got a question for you.
What's up?
So we'll kind of end it on this one as kind of a decent way to wrap.
No doubt.
So D2 is struggling.
Mhm.
If you had to put your finger and make a top 3 overall list, and I'll give you an example of one for me, and that's kind of basically what I said. I want to have a chance at points to feel powerful.
Amen. Amen.
I want to do a 270 Nightfall being 335 and not fear for my life quite in the same way. I want to go into a patrol and be able to just walk all over half of that stuff. But if I walk into like a high level patrol, then I'm going to get a little work. Like,
yes.
So if I go into low rank in Monster Hunter and I go hit the first guy, he probably takes me like 20 seconds right now. As opposed to my first fight was like going between zones and like a 20-minute fight. I can kill him in about 20 seconds. Like maybe that's fast, but it's probably about a minute on low rank. And you don't. I have not had that feeling in D2 ever. It is so normalized to wherever you are. It all feels the same. So that's
Amen.
So that's my one. Give me one for you.
Ooh, man, I think you.
I know it's like a big one.
You took a big one.
I was trying to give you an example though, because you kind of. It's like I'm going for the bigger, broader stuff.
That was really good, man. I think
anything in the pew pew department.
Sandbox, I feel is I'm actually confident that they're gonna get Sandbox right. I'm confident. I like what I'm hearing. I like the verbiage. For me right now, I think, shout out to Doc Amnesia. I think they have to do the weapon slot thingy. I think they have no choice because the consensus is people hate the clutter at heavy weapon power weapon slot.
Yeah,
so
it's how do you beat a rocket launcher? You can work with one. It's like if you can't beat him, join him. You got to work with him. You can't you're not going to beat a rocket launcher.
Right. So at this point, maybe you have that 4th slot specialty weapon.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got primary, energy, heavy power. That's what they call it now, right?
Yeah, I say heavy in my videos all the time. I'm like, sorry guys.
D1. Yeah, D1 dirt perks in us. Yeah, man. I think they have to do the bold. You're at the point, you're on life support. You have to do the bold. You have to jumpstart the patient, right?
You got to swing for the fences. Yeah.
What do you have to lose, right? No one's playing it right now.
Yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's like you have to jumpstart the patient. You have to do radical things. Like remember we heard, wow, Trials got no radar now. Okay, right. Yep. Every week we hear like 1 or 2 little mini radical things. We're like, really? Okay. I like that. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to do a series of that. And the biggest one is the double down. You have to back away from that old mindset of, where we got our boots dug in the ground and this is what the weapon system is. Nobody likes it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they already stepped back on Crucible.
Right.
So, I mean, they got Rumble. They got 6v6 Iron Banner.
Back on 6v6. Yep. Let's keep it real, right?
Yep.
Remember before, 4v4 is the experience. And that's all we have to say at this time. Nobody liked it. You know what I'm saying? So you've got pretty much, they have to acquiesce.
Let me ask you a question since I caught you mid-breath.
Let's go.
What if at the end of the God of Mars or whatever his trailer is like, special weapon slot and they just drop it there?
Boom! You gotta do it.
Like, I mean, that soon
the world,
exactly.
You have to. There's no more. I'm completely on board with Dr. Nietzsche's point, because at first me and you were kind of the mindset, right, September, the Taken King DLC. I'm looking, not to get long-winded again, we talked about this last one. I'm looking at that release calendar, y'all. October, Red Dead, October, Call of Duty, bro. You even if you drop this September, you may only get a couple of weeks.
Yeah, Battlefield 2. So if you play for a couple weeks, then you're gonna set it down again. Like
Exactly.
this is
If
a
you put it
long
now,
term thing.
if you change your development update roadmap, now it's very interesting. I hope we get. I'm retweet. I'm actually refreshing my Twitter every minute.
Yeah, I was like,
See if
let me know
anything
when that
drops
thing
while
shows
we
up.
live.
Yeah.
And it's just like if they're like, stay tuned for this. Remember, they're saying there's an update to the development roadmap.
Yep.
Maybe you gotta push that thing that you thought you was gonna put in September into the May God of War. It's that dire now.
Yeah.
Maybe we wait on I forgot one of the things. Maybe I don't know, mods or something. Maybe we
Yeah,
wait
Mods
on.
2.0 is a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one. Mod 2.0 is a big one, but maybe we may wait on one of the deliverables that was promised and bring this one up.
Yep.
That's what I got, man. That's my one.
Yeah, I could take some more exotic duplicates if I have to,
Yeah.
even though I got 2 more the other day, and I was like, "Are you friggin' kidding me?" I was so mad.
Yeah.
Like the way I like Vault Space, I've like basically accepted it sucks. So I mean, I'm with Destin on that one, 1282, or I crack up every time I listen to one of those. It just kills me. Mine is like lately the duplicates have been worse.
Yeah.
It's been I got 2 more of the same. I don't even know what it was. Piece of armor usually, and I got 2 more of the same thing. I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me? I was like, that's been so predominant for me. I mean, and it's not a major gripe. So that would be 2. So that way, so let me throw this out for the last piece for 3, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sure, go for it.
But yeah, for number 2, I mean, they got to go big for that weapon slot, and I think that would change so much for the feel, the weapons, your use. You have an entire power slot, and you have a vault full of stuff I don't even mess with.
And talk about feeling powerful again. Having your sniper, having you start to feel powerful. You feel powerful. You feel versatile.
Yep. So we want to feel powerful. I want to be able to go wreck some stuff.
Yes.
We want to have the proper weapon stuff. I want to be able to use all my weapons and not feel like I'm sacrificing everything just to have a normal loadout. My number 3. Now this is my bigger one for Taken King.
Go for it.
Because this is the big rework. Mods is a step in the right direction. I want them to just dive headfirst more into a feel of more of an RPG. You got to get stats meaning a little more, like builds and pull more from Division type stuff. Armor sets and, discipline with like a little bit more health versus a little bit more speed. And they're dabbling with that with mobility, but I still don't think it's going to be much. I want those level. I want and that may be even like a D3 where you kind of get more of a system like that in there. But that's the stuff the hardcore people want. There's nothing to min-max right now. There's nothing. And, I mean, your min-max, even if they do mods 2.0, when I get my 3 mods, I mean, give me a reason to wear different sets. Because right now they're all about the same.
Absolutely. You nailed it. I think my counter to that, I mean, not counter, but my equivalent, and shout out to my boy Addict, I got to, at this point, I have to think about the people who are not me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Who have left and why they have left. And Destiny, to me, the strength of Destiny, what made Destiny great. Shout out to all the people listening. We D1 vets. We going back memory lane again. But what made Destiny 1 great is you played the game, you beat it. Okay, what else do you do? Then you found out about that magical thing called the raid. And you got 6 of your buddies, and it was the hardest content. You got through it, whatever. Here's what I want. You being that the people, we know that the incentives are not where they should be for the raid, right? They're trying to improve that. They're doing little things. Okay, cool. What they also have to do is, which they had in place, and I saw this on Reddit. I forgot who the Reddit user was. I was like, amen when I saw his post. Wrath of the Machine. Not saying it was the best raid. It was one of my top raids though. Had it perfect in terms of reward and incentive to run it again and again. You had the raid chests, remember? You had the Siva key fragments, so that even if you got all the rewards, you ran it once, but you want to help your butt out the next week, right?
Yep.
I mean, the same week. You get the Siva key fragments, and you get enough of them per segment, you can still get a reward. Remember?
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Right. The other thing that the Wrath of the Machine had was the different weapons per difficulty. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Absolutely.
Then it had the Outbreak Prime quest.
Yeah, they need lots of those.
Where is that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, your strength, Bungie, your strength is the raid. No game MMO, in my opinion, that is what makes one of the things that really makes Destiny great. And I'm a really come for Division right now. Like Division 2, I'm getting excited. We talked about that
But
last
those
week.
incursions.
But those incursions is not it. That's
Nuh-uh.
not
No.
it. That's not it, bro. Like you've got to do something. Like there's nothing that beats the 6-man mechanic of a Destiny raid. Nothing. In my opinion, the console space. Shout out to you PC guys.
Yeah, they're gonna be like World of Warcraft, but you know.
Yeah, shout out to the PC World of Wild guys. No
But that's it. But I mean but that's the idea behind it. It's still
Exactly.
that level. Like
There you go. Talking to us console peasants here. I know Ebontis has graduated.
I mean I've been both for a while, so I'm just kind of floating in between.
Little Cognito's a console guy. When I got it was the most exhilarating feeling. There's no game that's replicating that.
No.
Let's keep it real. That's the strength. So play to your strength. Get people to play that damn raid all the time. You had the formula at D1. Mimic that Rise of Iron raid formula. There was no reason to take that out.
Yep.
No reason. You had the system. Remember even Wrath of the Machine was one of the most rewarding raids. Then you're forgetting the other thing. Remember the prestige set, and then you had the chromas with the ornaments. Now maybe you didn't like the way that the raid set looked per se, but you can't say that it wasn't
unique.
Yes, like those ornaments weren't unique. That it had the Siva coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Little particles floating up from each of your joints and stuff.
Say what you want about maybe you didn't like the set itself, but you can't say that the actual rewards and the actual ornaments that they did. And then think about every little armor piece. Like one made you get what you call it every time you kill Fallen. Remember it was giving you more heavy. Remember them arms?
Those are amazing in there.
Remember?
Yeah, and then if you're holding the Siva charge, like
one of them gives you percentage blast against this deceiver. Like, dude.
So take the Leviathan raid and be like, hey, Boots. So if you're gonna be the one holding the orb, you run faster, or you've got an extra jump in there to cover yourself. Like,
Salty, what up? He's in the chat listening to us ramble.
Yeah, I was like, whoever's out there hearing us ramble, we are definitely off train right now. We stopped at a station, we went for a coffee, we are chatting right now. So, but a little shout out to Guardian Radio. They had an email, and this is the same idea to give things more meaning in a different way. Think about your ghost. It's Nolan Bot. Okay. Why do I have 6 ghosts first? And they all have the same voice. And then have your ghost have like 16 unlockable things. Have him get different skins, but say like, hey, when you get, 1,000 kills in European Dead Zone, you can give your ghost like a little bit of like foliage on it or something like that. Then if you go on IO, have your one ghost. So I'm not trying to manage like 16 ghosts in my inventory and crap that I get picked up. But it's like, you kill 1,000 people or you find 50 chests on EDZ, you can select that as your location to turn on. Have one that has like 5 or 6 different things on it, and that's your ghost. But make it something that you can unlock stuff. Like those type of things. I heard that and I was like, absolutely. And everybody and Guardian Radio agreed. They're like, 100% agree. Like, why not? I was like, it makes your ghost mean a little more because it is your ghost. You can have him look a little different, and maybe it goes back to the old just, metal ghost, and then you can give him some skins or like foliage or like a little bit of, whatever, but it's still your ghost. It's you. If that's going to be your voice in the game, you can't be switching it in and out all the time. It's kind of weird. Like, hold on, let me pull out my other ghost. I'm going to use this one now. I'm going to leave this other one in my vault. Wait, what the hell? Would he transfer his voice between all of them? Is he conscious between all of them? I'm sitting there thinking about that. I'm like, just the lore of the story. That makes so much more sense.
I just think they won't do it, though.
I know, but I was like, but ghosts don't mean anything anyway. They give you minimal perks, even if you get some of those exotic ones for occasionally one little blip turn in at Banshee.
I agree.
I love your laugh there. You're like, I know exactly what you're talking about. That the BS telemetry, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
Yeah,
but it's like, make your main ghost, make it one, make it on the bottom page, move your fourth weapon slot right up there where the ghost is at. You're good to go.
Boom. Now you got the, like I said, you got the community. Those are the ones. At this point, it's all out. And back to our main point, which is,
Full
they
circle.
can't wait. I think May is important, man.
I was like,
I think May they have to surprise with deliverables that we didn't think were going to happen.
I think that's a good way to phrase it. They got to give us something we didn't expect. Even if it's not all we're hoping for, it's got to be something to be like, okay, like this is solid. Let's get in there and see. Like, can it just be one animation of like your ghost like sliding down to the bottom page, and then a new box appearing in there with an obvious sniper rifle icon, and then that's the fade out. They walk and they drop the mic, and they're like, "Peace, we'll see you in a month." And it's like, "Oh crap!"
That's it. That's all
like
you gotta do. No,
all you got to do, because they've only been talking about it for 4 months, and they can totally implement a complete weapon rework in 4 months. And that's the other. I was like, and that's the other. It's just right now. It's time.
Or you band-aid it. All right, maybe you don't have. Maybe the fourth slot ain't ready, right? So maybe you just say, as of May, guess what's in the energy slot, baby.
Those all can work there, right?
You know what I'm saying? Look what's back, 1,000-yard stare, baby. Energy slot, holler. I'm telling you, even if you ain't got enough time to do the full, fourth slot, throw it back like D1. The fans will flip out.
What if they fit in both?
Hey,
what if you could go shotgun, sniper, and kinetic?
Let's do it.
Let's
do it, man.
So, all right. I think we rambled a lot here, but
long point back.
Yep. But yeah, Twaba short is like, faction runners, they're trying to they've listened. They know people want things to mean more, and I think that's the big thing. We want things to mean more. We want a reason to play. We want to feel like Guardians, and we want to have a reason to get in there and feel like a Guardian.
That's what's up.
Wrapped it up in a nice little tombstone title. So,
amen, brother. Preach it to the choir.
All right. Well, we can wrap this thing up. If you guys have stuck with us through this one, or watched the full video, or listened to however you listen to it, yeah, thanks for sticking with us off of that tangent. I think we're getting back on the train. We'll pull it into the final station. So, terrible metaphors aside, you wanna wrap it up?
Yeah, man, this was a good one. As usual, it's always good talking to my brethren. Ebontis, that real Destiny talk, and the Flashpoint, always transforming the long point, but it's great.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good Sunday. We got, the Lords will return, talking that gaming talk, trying to lock down a guest. So I will post that to the ILP Twitter as soon as that is finalized. But we got some good gaming stuff to discuss, Microsoft's plans, a lot of stuff going on, Nintendo with firmware updates, and all type, yeah. Oh yeah, all tight. You can add your friends through Twitter now. Like it's going down. So you're gonna have a big show. Make sure you tune in.
Welcome to the world, Nintendo.
I know, right? Welcome to
they are so far back, like behind at the end of the
so
line. They're like,
ridiculous.
I'll be there eventually. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
It hurts.
So yeah, you can catch all that good stuff at the round table. It's gonna be the Lord's Day Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. That will be on the Inner Circle Network channel. So please tune in, please support. And again, you know where I'm at, Lord Cognito at Twitter and Xbox Live and Cognito 360 on PSN. Give me a shout. And if you're on Twitter,
really, your name on PSN is Cognito 360.
They wouldn't let me change it from the 360 era.
No, but your name on PlayStation.
Yeah,
you could just you're like I'm that's how much of an Xbox guy you are. Your PlayStation name has 360 in it.
I was on PS3 for baseball and Tekken.
And that's it. And you're like, that's the games they have.
Those were the games that interest me. Last of Us came at the end.
I had Xbox 360. Trust me, it's like I played more games on that, and then they lost me. They took like Xbox Live that was amazing, and they broke it with Xbox One. I was like, how do you do that?
Exactly. So that's what it was. That was my little troll name, I guess, so to speak. I literally said, I was like, it's my baseball PS Vita, because I used to do remote play.
Oh, yeah.
Remote play. And I forgot what the other, and the
Tekken,
one
said.
schools of Tekken, yeah. One couple of schools. I always loved the PlayStation controller for fighters.
Yep.
Always felt it was superb for that. So that was my thing. So where can the find people find you?
Yeah, well, you guys know. Always either recording these, watching me bash my head against the Nightfall wall. Always
Solo, I saw that Solo go up.
Yeah, I was working on another one the other night too, and I'm sitting there. I was working through this week. It's a Garden World, so you're facing the big Vex Mind at the end. He rotates around the platform, working it nice and slow, knock stuff down. Then all of a sudden, bam, pushed off the platform. 15 minutes later, doing this, got him down. And then it's the way the last couple of bosses have been. It's like you just have to smoke the boss when he gets down to the low phase. Otherwise, he's basically impossible to kill. Like, if you get him down to the phase and you don't dump all your damage at that point, you're done. So, just kind of going through, figuring all the little bit out. And so, yeah, you guys can watch me struggle live on twitch.tv/Ebontis, twitter.com/Ebontis. Updates, usually retweeting news that we see out there, and doing our nice little shout-outs for Flashpoint and Iron Lord's podcast. And right here on YouTube, where you guys may have come across this as well. So, if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button on either channel, we ask that you guys do that. Support the channel. It helps. Drop those likes, those comments, those shares. Those really help us a lot. Just spread the word as much as you can. We enjoy all the support. And again, it's like one of those random kind of crazy things. I never thought I'd even have the subscribers I do. I know I'm not the biggest, but I was like, it's like, I thank you guys for the support. And then I go look at my video views, and it's like, where'd you guys watch me from? Like 50 countries around the world, and I'm going, how did that even happen? I'm sitting here in my little tiny room, like on my computer with my PlayStation, and like not the best editing skills, and I'm like, I got that. So trust me, guys, thank you guys for everything. I mean, and that goes for, I think, both of us for sure. It's just any and all the support we get. We thank you guys for pretty much every minute of your day that you give us,
Much appreciated.
time is a valuable resource, and
absolutely,
it's one of those. So yeah, check us all out. Iron Lords, big shout out to them. Right here on Ebontis, my channel, Twitch Live, all that good stuff. So check us both out. We'll keep coming back. A couple weeks is going to be interesting. We'll have a big Flashpoint with between patch notes from the 27th, the Thwob on the 30th, and whatever comes next. Yes, that's going to be a long point. I'll warn you now.
That's going to be a long point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Next
we're going
week,
to have tons to talk about.
Yeah, so a couple weeks will be a long one. So if you got to save it up and you're like, hold on, I can't listen to you guys that much, just, hold off. Hang out, save us up for a couple weeks. It'll be a good one. So,
No
all right,
doubt.
guys. Well, thank you guys. So, good afternoon. For me, it's still good morning or good evening, wherever you guys are at around the entire world. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good one.
Peace.